Next up, ladies and gentlemen, we will invite on the stage, we have among us Mr. TIjay Gupta, co-founder and CEO of Bachpan and AHPS Group of Schools, India. सर बचपन का हम जब नाम सुनते हैं और छोटे छोटे बच्चे जब स्कूल आना शुरू होते हैं, one thing that I love to understand is how do you make them interested in studies? बहुत मुश्किल है, बहुत बड़ा सवाल है कि नन्हे नन्हे बच्चे जो अभी तक सिर्फ खेल कूद कर रहे थे घर पे, उनको अचानक से एक डिसिप्लिन में लाना, उनको पढ़ाई में सीखने के लिए इंटरेस्टेड करना. How do you work on that?
I think the method lies is not to teach. The method lies in always the play and learn theory. I think learning is everywhere, as Amir Khan said in Three Idiots. Any classroom you go, you can see the learning. So rather than taking an adaptive method or rather than taking a strict method for studies, in any class, I'm not talking about play school typically, I think the best way out is to make a child learn what is there in the world, what is there in the market, what is there in the industry, rather than going for numbers. I think that is most important. So we have thousands and thousands of examples and maybe lakhs of examples where people who have failed 8th class, 10th, sorry I'm saying this, but people who have failed 8th class, 10th class, or in US, you know, like after 12, 13, people have established their own startups and earning millions and billions. So ultimately life ka aim kya hai? Aim is to get the success. It doesn't mean whether it comes with numbers, doesn't mean whether it comes with experience or knowledge. So I think the truth lies कि आपके पास exposure देने के लिए क्या है? If the exposure is good, even for preschool, तो I think child will automatically be interested. Some child would be interested in, अच्छा, एक और बात है, what exactly is learning for us? As Indians, the learning is books, right? As a parent, I'll say मेरे बच्चे के तो 80% आए हैं, which is very less. 90 आए हैं, which is very less. तो parameter तो कभी खत्म ही नहीं होगा. Yesterday I was talking to my daughters and asking like, abhi school mein what is happening? So she said, Papa, I'm selected in Bharatanatyam. Okay, good. Show me what exactly you have learned. So she has learned a new form of Bharatanatyam with Western dance. Okay. She is not so good at studies. She is about 87, 88%, but she was selected as the first child for that. So I think I should look after the career. अगर उसका interest आता तो maybe she can work as a dancer. So ultimately success नंबर से इतना आ गया उधर उतना आ गया तो बराबर है. So I think learning is more important rather than making it tough for kids. So if you think make things little easy for kids with method, with teachers, it can go on and on.
Quite high standards, I would say. He just mentioned that, you know, she just gets 87 and 88%, you know, she's not very good in studies. What is very good in studies? How much are you expecting out of?
That's what I mentioned. For us, as Indians, very good is 97, 98. Everybody gives example, यार, तेरा 97, 98 नहीं आएगा तो कहीं college में admission ही नहीं होगा. ऐसा ही होता है ना? So that's the standard we have set for us or for our kids. But that's, according to me, that's a wrong standard. Why you are pushing them for numbers? Don't push them for numbers, push them for success and knowledge, which is there in everything. Maybe वो किसी story में भी हो सकते हैं. Maybe when you take your kids outside for a picnic, maybe when you take them abroad, when you take them for anything. So I think 3 days back I was traveling to Dubai. So our parent was there with me. So his child was about 6, 7 years old. So he was not helping him out even to board the flight. तो उसने बोला तू पहले जा, मैं बाद में आऊँगा. You find your seat, sit there, get your boarding pass checked, get your passport checked. So for me that's a learning. The parent is not, अगर कल वो abroad जाएगा, he knows how to handle a flight. So I think learning is how we handle our kids. That's up to us.
Something I used to always remember before entering the classroom, I always used to have it either a wallpaper on my phone or a sticker on the wall, that every classroom you are entering is not only the future doctors or engineers or not just that, but we do have, you know, artists, creators, dancers, singers, painters in every classroom that you are entering. I think in today's time, each student, I think that is something we are always talking about in events and summits, that every student needs a very independent learning, needs a very different education today. It's not like you can just, you know, go in a classroom and teach same things to 100 students out there. How do you at your schools develop independent thinking skills? And I would like to ask how. What are those steps and initiatives that you are implementing?
See, moreover, we believe in individual and practical learning rather than the bookish language. We have developed few good things in our school which we are doing differently. Let me tell you one or two things. Right nowadays, like anger is a very big issue with kids, especially with teenagers. I'll say when they turn about class 7, 8, or 9. So in one of our K-12 school, we developed a smash room. I think most of the people know about smash rooms here, though we don't have this culture in India much, but other countries we have this culture. So in smash room, there are different objects, and the child, whenever they want to put their anger out, they broke those things. Maybe a TV, maybe a glass, maybe a bottle, depending upon child age. So we have a smash room in one of our schools. So we, as a trial, we put few things which are not harmful to kids. And believe me, it worked as a miracle for parents as well as kids. So kids comes to school. There was a zero period kind of period in the school, and the kids went there and 5-10 minutes, and then there's a counselor ask what happened, why you are going there. So child opens up. When you broke something, you opens up. They cry, they foul. मेरे parent ने मुझे कल cycle नहीं लेके दी. My parent doesn't give me money. Mostly issues are related with parents, or I'm not good at studies. I've got less numbers. So I think again I'll say this is one of the methods. And again, we more focus on skill-based training in a school. For example, I always believe that there are only 40 students in a class or maybe 30 students in a class. पहले 1, 2, 3 जो आए उनका तो फ्यूचर सेट है, करियर सेट है, they'll go automatically, they'll find something. Maybe we need not to do anything. अगले 7, 8, 9 बच्चे, which brings about 80-90% is also okay, उनको भी कोई ना कोई करियर मिल जाएगा. The problems come with last 15 or 20 students, right? For them we need to focus, but we need to see which skill again they are good into. हो सकता है somebody is good in business, somebody is good in thinking part, somebody is good in learning part. So we need to extract what exactly the child is into. So we started some hobby classes and very basic hobby classes. For example, we started a class with the name of wood art. So we wanted to see how many kids are interested in doing things making on wooden. So you would be amazed. We find 3-4 students which were very good. जिन्होंने कभी कोई machine नहीं चलाई थी. They handled a machine and they cut a wooden block. Then they made things out of that. वो जैसे जेल में होता है ना कि कैदियों को सजा मिल जाती है. It was something that kind of things were given. So these are few methods which we adopted in our school, and we find students who are good at particular thing, 1 or 2 or 3 or things, and then we focus on those, and then we call the parents, make a session one-on-one that this is what your child is good into. We don't do any psychometric test. We don't do anything. We just see what actually they are looking at. Same goes for play school also. For play school, we have a Montessori room. So Montessori room में there are 100 odd tools. बच्चे को वहाँ छोड़ दिया जाता है. Teacher will invigilate them. So what child is doing? कोई बच्चा block बना रहा है, कोई निकाल रहा है. Somebody is doing zipping and unzipping. So that's how we see the interest and develop according to the interest.
I think the world is going upside down with this speed. I think वो जो last 15-20% बच्चे बनते हैं ना बचते हैं आजकल उन्हें जॉब मिल जाएगी. I think the other जो 80-90 ला रहे हैं उनके लिए मुश्किल है to find the right jobs. I think one thing that I like to ask, every student today need to develop interpersonal skills, and public speaking is one particular segment which is called the biggest fear out there in the world. How do you initiate different speaking events at school, and how do you push your students to be a part of it?
Unfortunately, we need not to do anything on this. The social media world is so adaptive. So I think out of 40 students, 30 or 35 can make a reel, can represent themselves. So I think nowadays kids are pretty smart. Whenever the situation comes, they can represent themselves. It is again up to the school. हमें लगता है कि these 4-5 kids are good at stage. We don't give chance to the last ones. Unfortunately, again I'll say we go as per academics in most of the school, but beyond academics, there is a child which we need to focus into. So I think kids are pretty smart. Just we need to see their skills, and if you say their fears, their stage fear, their interpersonal skills, I think I don't think there's a problem with that, because word is more representative. They can represent themselves. That time is already gone. जहाँ पे हमें स्टेज पे खड़े हो तो डर लगता था हमारी बात करें या I think students are pretty smart. They have that kind of command, and I have seen many students in school which are again very good in these skills. Like we do drama, we do a lot of plays, and our anchors are student only. And after every 2 or 3 things, like student comes and says about the item and things what is happening in the annual day or in the play. So we give chances to about 10, 15, 20 odd schools, and believe me, without much practice, they have the knack, they crack it out.
I'm going to believe I have a lot of competitors in the future who are going to take over this stage. Um, that was amazing. One last thing that I still want to ask. So when we talk about, that this particular percentage of students who are good in studies, and then there's another batch of students who's maybe good at something particular. Somebody is good at sports, or somebody is good at, being on stage. How do you segregate that, and what's the system? Because a lot of times we do know that student needs this or needs that, but how do you, plan on a particular system, and how do you segregate the students?
Teachers are given those tasks, and again, I mentioned that we have counselors and teachers for that purpose. So teacher are given a 6, 7 parameter kind of report in them, which they judge the student. They have nowadays with the help of technology, so many tools are there. With tools, we can judge what is happening, what not is happening, even with the classrooms also, even with the kids also, and especially, I think in any child learning, all three stakeholders are important. Child, of course, is important, but kids, beyond kids, there are teachers and parents also. So I think we always keep parents in loop. Beyond PTMs, there are regular meets, there are regular chats with parents, be it 1-to-1, be it 10-to-1, be it online. Good thing is that at post COVID, we have developed Zoom, or we have. So I think those stakeholders should be on a single platform to keep the learning going and to keep the development going for the child. Even child also with a responsibility. Now my parents knows about it. Earlier, what is happening? My parent doesn't knows about numbers. My parent doesn't knows about this. If I'll say, they'll say so many things. But now teachers are pretty much equipped to handle those things. I think people will agree with that. And with COVID, they got a lot of trainings on these subjects. Otherwise, things are going on a similar track. So I think that's not so much difficult now. But things are pretty easy as of now.
One thing I do have to admit that I loved my school days, but I never wanted to be a kid again. Now, listening about such schools and, schools taking such initiatives, I do want to go back to school and be a part of such school and learn everything, which is amazing, which is superb. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.